everyone. Thanks for being here tonight, or today, wherever, depending on what time zone you're in. My name is Molly Thompson. I am I'm an entrepreneur, a badge I wear proudly, and it's something I've been doing since the turn of the century. So since 1999, that's when I got my start in entrepreneurship. I have been building companies, developing companies, helping entrepreneurs. I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs to develop business models. I've worked with universities. I'm currently running my own company, which is company number, I think 7 or 8, that I have had a hand in starting or co-founding. My business partner is my husband, and we run a commercial LED lighting company. So there is something about entrepreneurship that has captivated my attention. I have attempted to work for companies, for universities, for others for many years. And it's taken me only until recently to figure out what it is about how I'm wired. And it's just that I'm wired to think bigger and to work for myself and to challenge the status quo, which isn't always super effective or welcome inside of a bigger corporation. But it's definitely how I operate at my best. And I've been doing a lot of deep diving lately from the perspective of why am I who I am, and what is it that has allowed me to be successful, or what is it that has really stopped me in my tracks. So I'm super old school because of a whole comedy of errors this week. I have one thing that I'll show you during my talk, but I'm going to give you what I think is maybe going to be sort of a short and sweet overview of a little different take on advocacy, because something that I've realized, at least in the last few months, is without this particular thing, none of us will truly be successful. And that thing is confidence. So I want to share with you today why personal confidence matters and why I'm a huge fan of advocating for it. I stumbled onto, I'm a life learner, like many of you on this Zoom workshop tonight. And I've come across dozens, if not hundreds, of people who inspire me and people who are mentors to me. One of them is a guy named Dan Sullivan, who's the founder of Strategic Coach. He has worked with tens of thousands of entrepreneurs over the years. And what he has a quote that I will share with you, and I can share it with Alex if anyone wants to reprint it later. But the quote is, "Your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for." And why that is particularly interesting to me is, do you ever notice sometimes you like zoom in on certain things, kind of like the yellow car phenomenon? Like, why is it that you tend to notice that? Maybe you're looking for something. If you're in the process of buying a new car, you always see that car when you're driving around. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there were so many, whatever, yellow sedans out there, but there they are. You happen to see them all the time. And I also look at things from because I've been an entrepreneur and I've worked with technology startups. I have built technology startups and worked with lots of entrepreneurs. I've also been looking at things from a technological standpoint. So if you look at the world today, at least from that technological point of view, you could arguably say that the world is better off today than it was 100 years ago. So, or even a few decades ago. There are so many advances that technology has created that has made it possible that we don't have to work 70 hours a week anymore in the fields, although a lot of people do, but we can work remotely. We can stay connected with family when they live in different places. We can be together like this, even though some people may not be able to see or hear or have other disabilities or things that they don't do well. It allows us to be able to get together and have a summit like this where we can all come together no matter where in the world we are. So I look at technology from that perspective, and certainly I'm an enthusiastic optimist, but I also take a look at while technology has really improved our lives vastly, it has also greatly reduced our well-being from a psychological standpoint. So why is that? Personal confidence has never been lower, and there's never been such a high level of dissatisfaction. There's lots of reasons why that you can just go online or do some quick research and find out a lot. I'm going to pose a theory that I think is a fatal flaw in our society today, or a part of the systemic issue, and it's the educational system today, because it doesn't create confidence among students. It presupposes that if you learn all the things and you go to the right schools and you get the job, that leads to confidence. Well, I know for myself, I can personally attest that that is simply not true. So I did all those things. I went to the schools and I got the jobs, but I spent years just feeling like I was floundering. And it's only been in the last 20 years since I've become an entrepreneur that I have started to develop a sense of self-confidence. But even then, it's only been in the last couple years that I've started looking at what is it about, how did I get there? Like, how did I develop that level of self-confidence? And now I understand why that's happened and the process that I can use to do it over and over again. As a sort of a side note, part of working with startups and with entrepreneurs, historically, there has been what I call a linear versus a kind of a generative way to start a company. So the linear way is you have this great idea and you go out and sell it to people and then you make money. But that's just not how it actually works. It's actually a lot more complex than that. It's a lot more generative. So I looked at, well, there has to be a way to make confidence into a process. Like there has to be a way to look at confidence maybe through a different lens. And what I learned is that confidence, it cannot be external. It has to be developed internally from within in order to be successful. If you go out into the world and do a little bit of research, there's no shortage of people who will tell you how to be more confident. Like, just be fearless, just read affirmations, find your favorite quote and look at that all day long. And while I'm a fan of affirmations and I use them, just being positive isn't the answer. There aren't enough affirmations in the world to help you develop what I call a generative confidence that lasts. So what is the answer? Again, my mentor, Dan Sullivan, has worked with a lot of entrepreneurs in his 35 plus year tenure. And he has developed a process called the 4 C's formula. And that's what I would like to share with you, because it turned my whole notion of confidence sort of on its ear. Generative confidence for me is what creates life-changing breakthroughs. So in the old school model, like big ideas can be really, really scary. When you get a big idea, it's like, oh, well, I don't know how to do that.
Thinking about things like that help me have a breakthrough.
I'm sorry? Oh, I was going to say, if you have a question, please fire away. I'm happy to answer it along the way.
No, sorry. I think I hit the wrong button.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. This is the upside as well of technology, is that we get to interact like this in between. So if you think of like when you come up, everyone's had a big idea, like something that really seems inspiring to you, But then where do you get stopped in that big idea? Because I know for myself, big ideas, I dwell in that world all the time, and they can be very paralyzing. So many people say, well, I'll take action when I get more confident about it. But I've learned that this is actually backwards. Confidence happens after you have the breakthrough. It actually is achieved from making the breakthrough. Others say, I'll take the action when I have the skills. But what I say is that that's actually the third part of the process. And confidence is actually a byproduct of three other things. So let's see here. Well, I'll just run through it and then I can show you my little graph. So the first step is actually commitment. The first step before you can do anything, before you achieve the capability, before you know how to do something, before you get to confidence, it's making a commitment. And making a commitment involves achieving a specific measurable result by a date in the future. So when you commit to somebody, when you commit to a job, like starting a new job, you have a date in the future on that by which you'll start. Or when you commit to a project, or when you commit to doing something, having that anchor of a specific measurable date in the future, it gives you kind of, it's like seeing the beacon out on the horizon. It gives you something to hold on to, so you know where you're headed. And nothing can start until you commit to achieving that specific measurable result by that date. But this can sometimes be a scary experience. So the second step after you've made the commitment is courage. So courage is required because you've got to take action before you've acquired the capability to achieve the result. And a lot of people say, well, I'm too scared to do this. And courage and fear are often interrelated, because fear will come up when things get scary, but courage is when you jump into action and you do it anyway. So intelligence and skill and experience, they're absolutely part of the equation for successful entrepreneurship. But without courage, no transformation can happen that allows you to level up or improve your life or change in any area that will lead meaningfully to breakthroughs and or growth. And then the third area is capability. Capability is actually created because of your commitment and courage. And it's what allows you to get into action. And it's once you start getting into action and moving the ball forward, then you start to notice, oh, this is where I'm producing results. And you start to take a look at that. That is what capabilities are. It's taking the action. And then finally, confidence is a result of those first three stages. Let's see here. One thing that I wanted to share about courage and confidence. The difference between courage and confidence is that confidence feels really good. When you're confident, you stand a little bit taller. Sometimes maybe you have that little bit of a swagger. And courage, it feels scary and it feels uncertain. But that's part of what it is in this whole process. Once you've committed yourself, but you don't yet have the proof that things are going to work out, that's when you really have to rely on courage. And it's before the capability shows up. Courage gets you into the action, and then you get to the capability. Let's see here. So let me show you this. Let's see if I could do this. Not super technologically savvy, but let me do this. There we go. Okay. Oh, I did it. I'm so excited. See, that was even scary for me. I know it's a small kind of silly example, but it does. So I've done presenting all the time, and I ended up being out of commission all week this week, unexpectedly. And so it was really scary for me. And that what kept me going was I had this commitment that I was going to come and talk today. And I am a fierce advocate of not only entrepreneurship, but also of the confidence that it takes to develop an idea and get beyond the scary part of it to see how you can develop the idea and turn it into something great. So I had to look past the feeling of feeling sick to my stomach that I didn't know what I was going to do because I wasn't able to do the notes and get prepared like I normally am. So it's moving through that courage and realizing I've been speaking to people for 20 years. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 24 years. And I can do this. I do this all day, every day. So it's really, like I said earlier, it cannot be external. It has to be internal, and leads that once you get through those first three, then confidence is the end byproduct of that. So finally, in closing, I just wanted to share a couple of kind of pro tips with you. First is one thing that I have learned, not only in working with the Strategic Coach Program and others, but one of the best ways to get going and improve your confidence, like right now, is to focus on increasing your confidence using the 4 C's of commitment, courage, capability, and then confidence. Do it in a 24-hour time frame. If you do that like in a short soundbite, it allows you to get a sense of where you are progressing, where you're accomplishing things, where you're moving forward. And to that end, you want to do it in that 24-hour time frame, looking forward, not backward. So you want to be looking at, what am I accomplishing? What's possible? Not looking backward. Look forward on who you can be, not who you were. When you stop holding on to that past, something truly remarkable happens to your confidence. Instead of feeling helpless like maybe you have before, especially in times that could have been scary, if you let go of what happened or what you did wrong and step into what's possible, it helps you to not only restore your power, but it helps to create your future. And you ignore your circumstances and tap into your inner resources. That is one of the biggest tips that I can give you. Don't do it alone. Involve others to help you build your confidence. Because then when you do that, you're able to share with them. Not only does it provide a little sense of accountability, but it also gives you a partner, and it allows you to tap into the things that they are really good at that could be a blind spot for you. You're able to use your abilities, creativity, and emotions to create the best new possible circumstance for yourself when you do these 2 things. Even though it may be tempting to hold on to something that's really comfortable and you just it just feels familiar and comfortable. But where you're going to achieve the breakthroughs is being willing to be a little bit scared and a little bit uncomfortable. And again, you go through that process of, I'm going to commit to it. And if you commit to it with somebody, power to you, that's even better. And then I'm going to take on the courage, even though it feels scary. And then out of that, I can start getting into action and developing the skills and the capabilities. And that is what leads to confidence. And one other thing, you can never design a future where courage is not required. So sometimes people think, well, once I get confident, I'll always be confident, but there will never be a world where courage is not required. So if you take that with you and you apply all 4 of these together, that will give you a roadmap for a generative type of confidence that you can use throughout the rest of your life. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly. Any questions? Martin, is that a hand? You have a question? Go ahead.
Yes, that is a hand. I was half listening and then I got really listening. So if you would, again, what are the 4 C's?
Oh, let me see if I'll bring them back. And I can also do.
I've got 5 of them written down now, so I'm
Oh,
You're doing great.
I can't wait. What's your 5th one? That's exciting.
Capabilities, courage, competencies, confidence, and commitment.
Okay, so commitment is where you start. That is the gateway to all of this, is commitment, and then courage, and then capability, and all of that leads to confidence.
Got it.
Oh, Alex, thank you. That probably would have just been as easy.
No, I think the visual is important and putting it in the chat is also important. So it's a both and.
Thank you,
Got it.
Molly. That was brilliant.
Any other questions? Going once?
I put the quote up on top if anyone wants to see that again, because I love that.
To repeat the quote, our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brains are looking for, from Dan Sullivan, founder of Strategic Coach. All right, any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Thank you, Molly. That was
Thank you.
That was great, and it really, to me, spoke to me about that scary part about advocacy, which I could only like zoom past. So you really I really felt going into that space. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Mary. I'll put that chat in the quote. And Alex, yeah, and I almost didn't share about like this whole week went sideways. I shared a little bit with Alex, but like went really, really sideways to the point where like up until 5 o'clock today, I was like, I don't think I can do this. And it's the commitment. And so I really have to step into this and walk the talk, and I live it. And it's still changing my life. So I hope it's useful for everyone else, and the like Strategic Coach, and there are lots of other resources out there, but it's been a game changer for me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.